back to my channel. This is just a general update video on some things that have happened. On a very positive front, as I think I've told you already in previous videos, I am currently seeing a psychologist privately on Zoom, and I speak to her every week. She's trained in autism and OCD, and she's very good, and she's been helping me with some of my OCDs around handling warfish and cooking fish, because I've had some anxieties over that, just based upon contamination and handling warfish and then cooking it and knowing when it's done and so on and so forth. But because food is my special interest and I love food, I'm very interested in healthy eating, I'm very interested in food in general and cooking, that's kind of been a motivation to try and help me overcome it, because I know logically there's nothing to worry about, and I know logically it's all fine, and I know logically how to do it. It's just an anxiety issue I have, but I really, really want to cook it because it's very good for you, it's very healthy, and I really like it and I enjoy eating it. So previously I had been seeing a support worker who left. She was one of the best support workers I've had, and she was helping me cook it, and we were doing it in our sessions, and that was building my confidence, and I had got quite confident and trusting myself, knowing how to do it and so on. Again, she left and I sort of lost for confidence, and I didn't do it for a while. I knew inside of me I could do it, it's just that the kind of anxiety was too much. But with this new psychologist, and we've been talking it through every week. She's not there physically when I'm doing it, I'm doing it all on my own, unlike with my support worker who was there physically. So this is in a way more of an achievement because I'm doing it completely on my own. There's no one there supervising me or anything like that. But talking about it with a psychologist once a week has been really, really helpful. And also we use what's called a goal checker, where every time I complete a goal, you move the little dial on the screen to complete, which is kind of a visual reminder, I guess, of the things I've achieved. And we can put new goals in there, and then when I've achieved them, I tick them off. It's a bit like getting a sticker in a way. So I've been overcoming my issues cooking fish. So we started small. I started with fish fingers because they're easy and covered in breadcrumbs, so you're not directly handling them. I do have certain things that the psychologist calls safety behaviours, which obviously I still wash my hands afterwards and stuff, but I have certain safety behaviours where I have to use some kitchen towel to handle it, sort of thing, because then I feel I'm not touching it directly, sort of thing. But the psychologist said although it's a safety behaviour, because it's helping me cook it, which is better than me not doing it at all, she doesn't think that it's a problem, because it's better me doing it than not doing it at all, and ultimately if it enables me to do something, it's just a small little thing. It's not a really big thing, but it enables me to do it. So she doesn't, although it is technically a safety behaviour, and she doesn't see it as something that's a real hindrance or anything. Maybe in future, as I get more confident, I can overcome that safety behaviour, but right now at least it's enabling me to do it, which is better than me not doing it at all. So we started with fish fingers, and then I moved on. I did some fish cakes, and then I did fish and breadcrumbs, like a fillet of fish, and that was a really big achievement. And obviously because you're just following the instructions on the pack, and I'm trying not to overcook it because one of my OCDs is overcooking it, but I'm trying not to do that. I still go for the maximum number on the packet, say where it says 18 to 20 minutes or whatever, I'll do it for 20 minutes. But again, at least I'm doing it, and it's not I'm still sticking to the instructions more or less. I might go over by about 20 seconds or something, but it's not a massive amount. And eventually in time, hopefully I can stop doing that. But right now, at least it's enabling me to do it, and that's a really, really big achievement, this. And today, I did the next thing, which is that I cooked a fillet of salmon. And that was a really big deal for me because there was some anxiety involved, but not too much. And I think that's because of the number of times I've done it with my support worker previously, and all that hard work I've done with my support worker was still there, and I know how to do it. It's not like I don't know how to do it. It's more just this kind of underlying OCD anxiety, what if, and not trusting my judgment and stuff like that. But I did it, and I didn't have too much anxiety. I did do a hack job of it afterwards, to check it's cooked, and I know you only really need to just put your fork into the middle, and that's what most people do, and eventually, that's probably what I'll do. But again, at least I did it, and I really enjoyed it. And that's the most important thing. So onwards and upwards, at least I'm doing it, because for a long time my anxiety was so bad around it, I wouldn't go near it. Now I'm doing it, and that's like a massive achievement for me. And also you can get them in cook bags, which is good for my OCD, because I don't need to directly handle it, because it's already in a bag. You just follow instructions, just shove it in the oven. So it's, in that respect, obviously, I know, again, that could be called a safety behaviour, because in terms of exposure and response prevention, obviously it would be better to to actually handle a raw bit of fish, and then obviously you wash your hands, that's just common sense hygiene. But obviously, right now, at least it's meaning I can enjoy it and have it. So it's not really, again, it's one of those, I guess it's technically a safety behaviour in a sense that, it's getting around the issue of directly handling it, which is an issue for me. But if it enables me to have it and enjoy it, that's better than nothing. So I feel really pleased, and that's a really big achievement for me. Now, strangely speaking, part of the reason I feel I've been able to overcome it is obviously I have a good psychologist, and that's great. But I'm the one doing the hard work. Ultimately, the psychologist just is providing me with extra kick up the bum, metaphorically speaking, to give me that encouragement to do it. It's sort of like hand holding in a way, but she's not there when I'm doing it. I'm the one who's doing it. I have to put the hard work in. She's just encouraging me, providing that kind of encouragement. And I guess because I trust her, because she's a professional, and I just feel like she's someone I can trust and everything. And I like her, and we get on, which is really positive. Because some of the psychologists spoke to before, as I told you, were really not good at all. But this one is a good one, and I get on with her, and she's nice, and I feel like I can talk to her. And as time goes on, I'll probably develop a relationship and be able to talk to her about more things, because obviously it's still early days and I'm still building trust with her. But she is a good one, and I do feel pleased to have this one. She's very good. But yeah, as I was saying, strangely speaking, because my fears and anxieties around COVID are so extreme, and obviously everyone's anxious about COVID, but obviously if you already have a pre-existing germ phobia like what I had, which was getting better before COVID, but I had a pre-existing germ phobia. Obviously, a pandemic situation is going to make a pre-existing germ phobia 10 times worse, and you're going to end up being housebound, is effectively what's happened with me. Although I do still go out for a walk every day to get my vitamin D and exercise, and I go out for about an hour and I briskly walk, which is really important for physical fitness. So at least I do that. But yeah, other than that, I am housebound. I mean, I can't go anywhere really other than that hour walk, which is around the same residential streets, get my safe zone, avoiding people. And that's what I've been doing now for 2 years, because I'm so afraid of COVID. Everyone's afraid of it, but obviously most people can still go in shops, and most people aren't as restricted as I am. That's where it becomes a disorder, but that's because I've got a pre-existing health and germ phobia anyway, anxiety and germ phobia. So obviously that's, kind of inevitable, that's going to happen. Someone like me. What I want to say is that because my anxiety around COVID is so extreme, it's kind of meant that my other anxieties seem trivial in comparison, because they're not as bad as a COVID anxiety. It's almost like you need a bigger anxiety to make the other anxieties kind of seem more trivial and less and easier to overcome. It's kind of weird how the mind works. Obviously, I'd rather we didn't have a pandemic and it doesn't redeem the situation, but it's kind of like a silver lining that it's kind of, if the pandemic hadn't happened, I probably still would have achieved this eventually anyway, but it's, because I was wanting to, and I probably would have got there anyway without the pandemic. But it's kind of, in a weird way, I'm sort of thinking, well, it's not as bad as COVID, COVID is a real threat. This is just in my mind. I know that it's safe, and I know, you're just following instructions. I know my judgment is sound. I have to trust my judgment. It's just an OCD kind of hang-up. It's not a real fear. Well, it is a fear. It's a fear, but it's not logical in that sense. It contains logic, but it's kind of, how can I say? It's, I know it's all in my head, It's trivial, really, at the end of the day, compared to COVID. And I sort of feel that has kind of, meant that it doesn't seem as bad and I can do it, which is funny, how that works. It's a bit like once when I went to a castle with my support worker, and there was a spiral staircase, and I saw some kids going up it, and I was thinking, if they can go up it, so can I. So I went up it, and going up was fine, but coming back down I had really bad vertigo, and because you're in a confined space and there's no windows, and you feel trapped, and you have to go down, and there's you know, I've literally felt like I was about to seize up and my legs were shaking. My support worker was walking down in front of me and she was encouraging me, but my legs were like wobbling, and thankfully I did get down, but I felt real vertigo. But then afterwards, I have a dog phobia, and there were loads of dogs running around, and normally I'd be absolutely terrified, but because I just climbed up, come back down the spiral staircase, and that seemed more dangerous and scarier than the dogs, for about an hour afterwards, I sort of had lost my dog phobia. Not completely lost it, but kind of, it definitely was a lot less severe. But sadly, obviously, unfortunately, that effect doesn't carry on. But it's weird how you sometimes need a bigger fear to kind of make other fears not seem as big, which is strange how the mind works. It's all psychological. It's just, let me know if any of you can relate to that. So I just wanted to share that success today with the fish. I feel very, very, very pleased because, I like, it's a very healthy thing to eat. I've overcome that barrier. I mean, obviously I still have some OCD around it, but it's not insurmountable, and I'm getting better with practice. And it's slight anxiety, but manageable anxiety, and it feels really positive. I get a sense of excitement when I've achieved it. It's like, wow, I've done it. It's really good for someone with, like myself, who's had long-standing OCD over this. That I am now, and hopefully eventually I'll look back on it and think, well, I can't believe I was ever so anxious about it. So yeah, I'm really making progress there, and obviously I love food, I love cooking. So I want to be able to eat something I like, without anxiety. So because it's so easy to cook, and easy to cook and simple to cook, and so you can't really go wrong with it, really. I mean, so yeah, so that's what I wanted to share with you about that and how pleased I am. So moving on to video number 2 now, because I just want to talk you through some other things. So moving over to video number 2.